Hello, everyone. I am Priyanka Chopra. Let me ask you a question. What's the one thing we all get equally, no matter where we're born, what we look like, or what we do? Time. Time is the greatest equalizer. You don't need to be born into privilege to have 24 hours in a day. You don't need to be a genius to have 60 minutes in an hour. But what you do with that time, that's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the achievers, and the average from the extraordinary. So let's talk about spending time wisely, because your future, your success is being written in how you spend your minutes today. First, get intentional. Don't let life just happen to you. Wake up each morning with purpose. Know what your goals are, not just the long-term ones that look great on paper, but the daily habits that inch you closer to them. Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, an artist, or still figuring it out, it doesn't matter. What matters is showing up every single day. Next, say no without guilt. Success isn't just about what you choose to do, it's also about what you choose not to do. There will always be distractions, people who want your time, noise trying to steal your focus. Learn to protect your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Third, invest in yourself. Read, learn, ask questions. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who see your potential even when you don't. The time you spend developing your mind is never wasted. That's how you grow. That's how you become unshakable. And finally, rest. But don't quit. Spending your time wisely doesn't mean burning out. It means knowing when to pause and recharge so you can return with fire. Hustle smart, not just hard. Remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Small, smart steps taken every day lead to massive transformation over time. Time is the most democratic resource in the world. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what stage of life you're in, you are granted the same 24 hours in a day as everyone else. Success doesn't come from having more time. It comes from managing the time you have with purpose, with intention, and with discipline. Every great achievement, every inspiring success story is built not from magic, but from mindful use of time. If you want to succeed, the first and most crucial thing you must do is respect the value of every minute you're given. Intentionality is everything. Without a sense of direction, it's easy to drift. You must decide clearly and without apology what your goals are and why they matter to you. It's not enough to wish for success. You must plan for it. You need to wake up each day with clarity. Whether it's spending an hour honing your craft, learning something new, or simply showing up fully in whatever you do, be intentional. Time slips away fast when you're passive. The most successful people don't wait for opportunities. They prepare for them every single day with deliberate action. Discipline over desire is a game changer. There will be days you don't feel like pushing forward. There will be moments when distractions seem far more tempting than your responsibilities, but success isn't a mood, it's a mindset. It's built on consistency, on doing the things that need to be done even when you'd rather not. It's about choosing the future you want over the comfort of the moment. Every time you stay disciplined, you're choosing the path of growth. That choice, made again and again, is what makes all the difference. Saying no is a skill you must master. Many of us are raised to be agreeable, to be available, to say yes, but time is finite, and if you don't guard it, someone else will use it for their agenda. Saying no doesn't make you rude, it makes you focus. Choose your commitments wisely. Not every meeting, message, or invitation deserves your attention. Protect your energy. Spend it on the things that align with your vision. The power to say no, with grace and without guilt, is one of the greatest gifts you can give to your future self. Learning never stops. One of the wisest ways to spend your time is in self-development. That could mean reading, seeking mentorship, taking courses, exploring new ideas, or just being curious. Every time you invest in learning, you're expanding your potential. The world is evolving fast, and those who don't evolve with it are left behind. Your success depends not just on what you know today, but on your willingness to keep growing tomorrow. Make learning a habit. Be hungry for knowledge, not just to impress others, but to truly become the best version of yourself. Surrounding yourself with the right people is critical. Time spent with inspiring, ambitious, and kind-hearted people is never wasted. The people in your circle either fuel your fire or drain your energy. Choose wisely. Spend time with those who challenge you to rise, who believe in your dreams, and who push you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Conversations with the right people can ignite ideas, shift your mindset, and even change your path. Time with the wrong ones, however, can chip away at your confidence, audit your circle. Energy is contagious. Make sure you're catching the right kind. Resting is not the enemy of success, it's the foundation of it. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Burning out doesn't make you stronger, it only delays your journey. Learn to rest without guilt. Recharging your mind and body allows you to return to your goals with clarity and power. True time wisdom lies in knowing when to push and when to pause. Rest isn't quitting, it's an investment in sustainability. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot build an empire on exhaustion. Consistency beats intensity. Often, we believe we need to make big leaps to succeed, but in truth, it's the small steps repeated daily that lead to the biggest wins. Spending 30 minutes a day on your goals might not feel revolutionary, but do it for a year and your entire life can change. Don't wait for motivation, build discipline. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start now, imperfectly, and keep going. Consistency builds trust in yourself. It builds habits, and habits create results. Every small action, done with intention, compounds over time into something extraordinary. Lastly, time isn't just something we manage, it's something we live. Every moment is a chance to choose who we want to be. You don't have to have it all figured out to use your time wisely. You just have to show up, make the next right choice, and keep showing up. Success is not a destination. It's the result of what you do with the hours you have today. So spend them like they matter, because they do. Every minute counts, and how you spend them determines the story you'll tell with your life. There is something quietly powerful about a person who knows what they want and moves toward it with unwavering intention. In a world full of noise and endless distractions, few things are more essential than clarity. To spend your time wisely, you have to begin by deciding what matters to you. That clarity, real, deep, and personal, is what separates those who move with purpose from those who simply go through the motions. Intentionality is not about having every step of your life mapped out. It's about living each day with awareness. When you wake up in the morning, you have a choice to let the world decide how your time will be spent, or to decide for yourself. That decision, repeated daily, becomes your life. Many people think they lack time, but what they truly lack is direction. They find themselves overwhelmed, exhausted, and yet strangely unfulfilled, not because they aren't busy, but because they're busy with the wrong things. When your actions aren't aligned with your deeper goals, even your hardest work will feel empty. Intentional living requires you to take a step back and ask hard questions. What do I want to achieve? Why does it matter? What kind of person do I want to become? When your time is aligned with your values, your energy becomes focused, your days gain momentum, and your life begins to feel meaningful. Not because it's easy, but because it's authentic. Living with intention doesn't mean you'll always feel certain. In fact, most meaningful goals begin in uncertainty, but even then, you can move forward with purpose. You can use your time not just to react, but to create. Time becomes a tool, not a trap. That shift when you stop treating time as something to survive and begin using it to build changes everything. You start choosing activities that nourish you. You let go of people and habits that drain you. You begin to honor your own journey, no matter how different or unconventional it looks to others. There's courage in living intentionally because it often means swimming against the current. It means turning off the noise of comparison and choosing your own path, even if no one else understands it. It means being okay with not doing what everyone else is doing. It means knowing that a purposeful no is often more powerful than a passive yes. Intentionality is not just about strategy, it's about self-respect. When you live with intention, you're telling the world and yourself that your time matters, that your life matters, and that you're not here just to exist, but to thrive. But clarity and intention, while powerful, are not enough without their partner, discipline. If intention gives you direction, discipline gives you traction. Dreams are easy to imagine, plans are easy to write. But to turn those dreams into results, to bring those plans to life, you need discipline. You need the strength to keep going when the excitement wears off, when the motivation fades, when things get tough, which they will. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. In every journey towards success, there will be days when you're tired, distracted, or discouraged. Those are the moments where discipline shows its true value. It's easy to work hard when you're inspired, but the people who go far are the ones who work even when they're uninspired. They show up anyway. They don't let feelings dictate their commitment. That's what discipline really is, the ability to act based on commitment, not emotion. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your goals, even when it's uncomfortable, you build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are someone who follows through, and that belief in yourself becomes unshakable over time. Discipline is not about being rigid or harsh. It's about creating structure that supports your freedom. When you know your priorities and you build your life around them, you're not trapped, you're focused, you're not limited, you're empowered. The boundaries you set for your time become the very space in which your creativity, your vision, and your best self can grow. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a gift. It's the thing that carries you through when motivation takes a break, and it's the thing that ensures your goals are more than just ideas. They become your reality. It's important to understand that discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build, one choice at a time. It starts small. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier. Maybe it's committing to finish a task instead of scrolling. Maybe it's choosing to stay in and study, create, or train when your friends are out. Every one of those choices matters, and no, not every day will be perfect, but the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Show up again tomorrow, and then again the next day. That's how you build discipline. That's how you turn intention into action and action into achievement. When you combine the power of intention with the strength of discipline, you become unstoppable. You stop wasting time on things that don't serve you, and you start using time to become who you're meant to be. You realize that every minute is a building block, and you have the power to decide what you're building. Time, after all, doesn't wait for anyone, but when you treat it with the respect it deserves, it will reward you with a life that reflects your deepest goals, values, and potential. Time is not just something that ticks away in the background of our lives. It's the very substance of our existence. How we use it determines who we become. Living wisely starts with intentionality. Without it, days blur together, weeks pass, and we find ourselves wondering where the time went and why our dreams still feel distant. Intentional living demands awareness. It means waking up and making a conscious choice about what today will mean. That doesn't always involve grand achievements or life-changing decisions. Often, it's in the small, deliberate actions, choosing to write for 30 minutes, to study for an hour, to take care of your health, to invest time in your relationships. These are the daily investments that build a life of purpose. You must ask yourself what you want. not what sounds good to others, not what looks successful on paper, but what truly resonates with your values. When your daily time is aligned with your true self, life begins to take on meaning, momentum, and clarity. Living intentionally also requires that you stop waiting for the right time, for the perfect circumstances, for permission. The truth is, life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Time moves forward whether you choose to participate or not. So why not act with purpose now? You don't need to have every detail figured out. You just need to know what direction you want to move in, and then move step by step, hour by hour. When you begin treating your time like it matters, you start making choices that build something meaningful. And over time, those small moments of intention create a life of substance. But intention alone isn't enough to get you there. That's where discipline enters the picture. While intention sets the direction, discipline keeps you moving forward when things get hard. And they will get hard. There will be days when motivation disappears. There will be days when you're tired, distracted, discouraged, or tempted to quit. Discipline is what shows up when motivation takes the day off. It's the quiet voice that says, do it anyway. And those choices, to keep going when it's hard, to focus when it's easier to scroll, to follow through on your goals when no one's watching, those are the moments that shape your future. Discipline doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. In fact, it's usually quite the opposite. It's in the routines, the habits, the steady pace you keep even when no one's clapping for you. Contrary to popular belief, discipline doesn't confine you, it frees you. When your time is structured around your priorities, you gain more freedom, not less. You waste less energy on indecision. You avoid the stress that comes from procrastination. You feel more in control, more capable, more confident. Discipline doesn't mean being perfect. It means being committed. It means being willing to show up again and again, even when the process feels slow. You don't need to get everything right. You just need to keep showing up. That consistent effort compounds over time into something powerful. Even with the best intentions and strongest discipline, your time is still vulnerable to distractions, to demands, to the agendas of others. That's why learning to say no without guilt is an essential skill. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Your time is finite. Your energy is limited. Not everything or everyone deserves a piece of your day. That might sound harsh, but it's the truth. If you don't protect your time, someone else will fill it for you with their plans, their priorities, their drama. And if you say yes out of obligation, fear, or guilt, you end up living a life built on other people's expectations instead of your own goals. Saying no doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you're focused. It means you respect your own boundaries and are committed to your purpose. That kind of strength often makes people uncomfortable, especially those who benefit from your constant availability. But boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They help you decide what adds value to your life and what drains it. They help you protect the space you need to grow, to rest, to create. Saying no is not about rejection. It's about alignment. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to something that does. You're creating room for what really matters. The more you practice saying no, the easier it gets. It becomes less about pleasing others and more about honoring yourself. And as you get better at protecting your time, you'll notice something remarkable. You feel less overwhelmed, less scattered, and more grounded. You begin to move through life with intention, act with discipline, and make decisions that serve your highest goals. That's not selfish, that's wise. Time is your most valuable currency. You can't earn more of it. You can't save it for later. You can only spend it, and once it's gone, it's gone. The way you use it speaks louder than anything you say. It tells the story of what matters to you, so use it wisely, spend it on purpose. Use discipline to keep moving, and don't be afraid to say no to anything that doesn't help you build the life you truly want. Time doesn't wait. It moves forward without hesitation, without apology, and without concern for whether you're using it wisely or letting it slip through your fingers. The key to success lies not in controlling time, but in controlling how you use it. That begins with intentionality. You must choose to live deliberately, not just react to life as it comes. Every morning, you're given a blank canvas of hours. How you paint them determines the picture of your future. Living with intention means understanding your goals, your values, and what matters to you. Not to the world, not to your parents, not to social media, but to you. It's not about having every answer, but about moving with clarity. When you're intentional, your time becomes a tool, not a burden. You stop chasing distractions and start building something meaningful. Whether it's learning a skill, strengthening a relationship, or taking care of your health, intentional actions add up. 1 hour used with focus is more valuable than 10 hours spent drifting. And when you begin treating time as a limited resource, you start making decisions from a place of purpose. But even the most intentional plan means nothing without discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going when your motivation disappears. It's the quiet engine beneath every long-term success. You'll have days where you feel tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed, and that's when discipline matters most. It's easy to act when you're excited. What matters is how you act when it's inconvenient. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's early mornings, late nights, saying no to distractions, and doing the work even when it's the last thing you feel like doing. But it's also the thing that builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you show up, stay committed, or finish what you started, you reinforce your belief that you can trust yourself. And that kind of belief is priceless. Success doesn't come from sudden bursts of effort. It comes from consistent, quiet discipline, day after day. People often look at those who have made it and assume they were more talented or lucky. In truth, many just had the discipline to keep going long after others gave up. That leads to something else just as important: learning to say no without guilt. Time is limited, and if you don't set boundaries, others will set them for you. There will always be people, opportunities, and distractions pulling at your attention. Saying yes to everything might make you feel helpful or liked, but it will also leave you exhausted, unfocused, and far from your goals. Saying no doesn't mean you're rude or selfish. It means you're clear. You're clear about what matters to you, what your priorities are, and how you want to spend your energy. When you say no to what doesn't serve you, you say yes to what does. You say yes to rest, to your goals, to your peace of mind. And the more you practice this, the more you'll realize that people who respect your boundaries are the ones who deserve your time in the first place. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your life. You owe yourself the space to grow, focus, and succeed. It might be uncomfortable at first, but saying no is one of the most powerful tools for protecting your future. And while you protect your time from the unnecessary, you also must choose to invest it in yourself. That means using your hours to grow, evolve, and expand your abilities. You are your greatest asset. The time you spend learning, building skills, nurturing your mind, and exploring new ideas is never wasted. Whether it's reading a book, attending a workshop, watching a documentary, or practicing a craft, every bit of knowledge you gain adds to your value. In a world that changes constantly, those who continue to learn stay ahead. Personal growth isn't something that happens by accident. It's something you commit to. No one else is responsible for your development. If you want to rise, you have to reach. If you want to lead, you have to learn. And the more you invest in yourself, the more opportunities you'll begin to attract, because growth is magnetic. People notice when you're leveling up. Investing in yourself also means making time for your well-being. Growth doesn't only happen in books and workspaces. It happens in rest, reflection, and resilience. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. Get quiet enough to hear your own thoughts. When you prioritize self-investment, you start showing up differently in your work, your relationships, your goals. You become sharper, stronger, and more aligned with your potential. All these ideas, intention, discipline, boundaries, self-investment aren't separate paths. They're interconnected choices that shape your days and define your direction. One reinforces the other. Together, they help you use your time not just to survive, but to create something extraordinary. Time is your currency. Spend it where it matters most, on building a life that reflects who you are and who you're becoming. Time is the most precious resource we have, and yet it's the one we treat most carelessly. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day, but how you use those hours determines whether you drift or rise. The first step in using time wisely is living with intentionality. You must know what you're aiming for. That clarity of purpose, of vision, of values becomes your compass. It's not about having your entire life mapped out. It's about starting each day knowing what matters most. When you act with intention, you begin to make decisions that align with your bigger goals, not just your temporary emotions. That's when your actions become powerful. You stop chasing every opportunity that knocks and start choosing the ones that bring you closer to your purpose. Intentionality is about taking ownership of your time. So many people live on autopilot, filling their schedules with obligations and distractions, and then wonder why they feel stuck. The truth is, when you don't design your life, someone else will do it for you. Being intentional means asking hard questions. What am I working toward? Why does it matter to me? How should I spend my time today to support that vision? When your choices reflect your goals, every hour becomes a building block towards something meaningful. That alignment creates energy, momentum, and confidence, but clarity alone won't carry you. Once you know what you want, discipline becomes the force that makes it real. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. It's not always exciting. It's not about chasing motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Discipline is what remains when your mood is gone, and the only thing left is the commitment you made to yourself. It's waking up early to study when your body wants to sleep. It's practicing the same routine again and again until you master it. It's choosing the long-term reward over the short-term pleasure. And over time, discipline builds something greater than skill. It builds self-trust. Each time you follow through on a promise you make to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are dependable. You start trusting yourself to show up, even when it's hard. That's how confidence is born, not from perfection, but from consistency. Discipline isn't about punishment or being harsh. It's about creating structure that supports your vision. It gives your intentions the traction they need to move forward. Without discipline, your goals remain distant dreams. With it, they become part of your daily routine. And while you're building discipline, you'll also need to guard your time. That means learning to say no without guilt. You can't say yes to every invitation, every favor, or every distraction and still expect to live a focused life. Saying no doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you have standards. It means you respect your time and energy enough not to give them away carelessly. When you say no to what doesn't serve your goals, you create space for what does. You give yourself permission to prioritize, to rest, to build, to grow. Saying no doesn't burn bridges. It builds boundaries, and healthy boundaries protect your purpose. People will ask for your time, your energy, your attention. And you'll be tempted to say yes to avoid discomfort or please others. But remember, every yes has a cost. It takes time away from something else, often from your own dreams. Learn to say no kindly, but firmly. You don't need to over-explain. You don't need to apologize for valuing your growth. Saying no allows you to say yes to yourself. It's one of the most empowering decisions you can make. Once you've carved out space with intentionality, discipline, and boundaries, you must choose how to invest that space. Invest in yourself, in your mind, in your body, in your craft. Read more, listen more. Train harder, learn new skills, seek out mentors, reflect on your growth. You are your most valuable project. The time you spend developing yourself multiplies over the years. It becomes the edge that sets you apart. While others are waiting for opportunity, you'll be preparing for it. When you invest in yourself, you increase your value, not just to the world, but to yourself. You prove that you're worth the effort. Personal growth isn't a luxury, it's a responsibility. The world is changing fast. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. Your mindset, your habits, your adaptability, they all determine how far you'll go. Growth doesn't happen by accident. You must be intentional with how you spend your free time. Use it to expand your thinking, build your resilience, and sharpen your focus. Because success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. And that starts with how you prepare yourself internally. And finally, protect your time from distractions. Not all distractions look like chaos. Sometimes they look like comfort, social media, endless scrolling, gossip, comparison, constant entertainment. These things don't always feel destructive in the moment, but they steal your focus 1 second at a time. Attention is your currency in this age, and if you give it away freely, you'll find yourself drained and directionless. Learn to recognize what pulls you away from your purpose. Turn off notifications. Set boundaries around your screen time. Create environments that support focus. You don't need to cut off joy or spontaneity, but you do need to be mindful of what you're consuming, mentally, emotionally, and digitally. Your time deserves more than passive consumption. It deserves conscious action. Each choice you make with your time is a vote for the kind of life you want to build. Spend it wisely. Leave with clarity. Work with discipline, protect your space, invest in yourself, and don't be afraid to disconnect from the noise long enough to reconnect with what truly matters. Time isn't just something we manage, it's something we either waste or wield. And the difference lies in how intentional we are. Living intentionally isn't about having rigid plans or obsessing over productivity. It's about knowing what you want your life to look like and taking deliberate steps each day to move closer to it. When you live with intention, every hour has a purpose. Even if that purpose is rest, connection, or reflection, you no longer drift through the day, you direct it. Your time reflects your priorities, not your impulses. That kind of living doesn't happen by accident. It happens through choice. You choose your focus, your direction, and your commitments. And when your time aligns with your values, your life begins to feel not only productive, but meaningful. But clarity without action is just theory. That's where discipline enters. Discipline is the daily execution of your intention. It's the quiet force behind every accomplishment you admire. While motivation is unreliable, fickle, even, discipline is steady. It's showing up when you're tired. It's doing the hard thing when the easy one calls. It's pushing through when progress feels invisible. And over time, that discipline compounds. It becomes your reputation, your results, your confidence. It teaches you that you can count on yourself. That's powerful, because once you learn to keep promises to yourself, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You start acting from purpose, not emotion. And that's where real momentum begins. Still, even the most disciplined person will fall into chaos without boundaries. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to say no without guilt. No to distractions, no to other people's priorities, no to anything that doesn't move you toward your goals. Time is a limited currency, and every yes is a trade. Say yes to everyone else all the time, and you'll find there's nothing left for you. Learning to say no is about respect, self-respect. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. People may not always like it, but you weren't born to be liked by everyone. You were born to live on purpose, and that means making choices that protect your focus, your energy, your future. With that protection in place, you create the space to invest in yourself, deeply and consistently. No one will care about your growth more than you do. No one will hand you success wrapped in a ribbon. You have to become the kind of person success is drawn to. That means reading more, learning often, and surrounding yourself with people who challenge and stretch you. It means listening to feedback without defensiveness and seeking growth without needing applause. Your skills, your mindset, your adaptability, these are your greatest assets. When you pour time into developing them, you set yourself apart. You become resilient, creative, sharp, and success starts to feel less like something you chase and more like something you attract. But to do that well, you must avoid distractions, especially the silent ones. Not all distractions are obvious. Some look like obligations, some look like comfort, some are dressed up as urgent, but they're really just noise. In a world where everyone and everything is fighting for your attention, distraction becomes a thief. It steals your best hours, your mental clarity, and your ability to be fully present. If you don't control your environment, it will control you. That means turning off notifications, stepping away from the scroll, and creating boundaries around your focus. Your attention is your leverage. Guard it. Refuse to let it be consumed by things that don't matter in the long run. You can't create anything meaningful in a state of constant interruption. And while focus is essential, it's not enough to rely on bursts of it. You need structure, routines that support your vision and anchor your discipline. Routines remove the guesswork, they reduce decision fatigue and help you operate from rhythm, not chaos. Successful people don't just work hard, they work consistently, and that consistency comes from building habits that reinforce who they want to become. Whether it's a morning routine that sets your tone, a night routine that resets your mind, or small daily rituals that keep you grounded, your routines are your personal infrastructure. They create stability in an unpredictable world. They give you something to return to when everything else feels uncertain. Routines won't make every day perfect, but they will make progress inevitable. None of these principles stand alone. Intentionality is the spark. Discipline is the drive. Boundaries protect the mission. Self-investment sharpens the tools. Focus cuts through the noise, and routine turns effort into lifestyle. This is how you spend your time wisely. Not through perfection, not through burnout, but through consistent, conscious alignment with what truly matters to you, because time once spent never returns, and if you're building something with it, something bold, something meaningful, you owe it to yourself to use it well. Time is the one resource everyone has in equal measure, yet how we choose to spend it separates those who succeed from those who simply survive. It starts with intentionality, the conscious decision to live on purpose, not by accident. When you wake up each day and decide where your focus will go, you're no longer a passenger in your own life, you become the driver. This means knowing what truly matters to you, understanding your values, and aligning your daily actions with them. It's not about perfection or rigid schedules, but about clarity of purpose. Intentionality is the lens that filters out noise and distractions, allowing you to channel your energy toward what moves you forward. Yet, intention alone isn't enough. It's discipline that transforms dreams into reality. Discipline is what keeps you committed on the days when motivation fades or obstacles appear. It's waking up early to work on your goals even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's pushing through discomfort and boredom because you know that's where growth lies. The beauty of discipline is that it builds self-trust. Each time you follow through, you tell yourself you can be relied upon. This consistency lays the foundation of success, brick by brick. And success isn't a sudden event. It's the product of countless small, disciplined choices made over time. Alongside discipline comes the courage to say no without guilt. Every yes you give is a yes you don't give to something else, often something more important. Saying no is not about shutting doors, but about protecting your time and focus. It's about understanding your limits and standing firm in your priorities. You don't owe everyone an explanation or an apology for protecting your space. Saying no is a radical act of self-respect that clears the way for yeses that truly matter. When you practice this, you stop overcommitting and start living in alignment with your values. With those boundaries in place, you create space to invest deeply in yourself. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give your future. Learning, growing, refining your skills, and nurturing your mental and physical well-being are investments that compound exponentially over time. Reading, taking courses, seeking mentorship, reflecting on your experiences, these are ways you cultivate the inner resources necessary for success. When you prioritize self-investment, you not only improve your abilities, but also increase your confidence and resilience. The world changes quickly, and continuous growth is the key to staying ahead. To protect this growth, you must fiercely guard your attention from distractions. The modern world is designed to fragment focus with endless notifications, social media, and trivial noise. These distractions drain your energy and scatter your mind, stealing moments you could spend creating, learning, or resting. Recognizing these time thieves and setting firm boundaries around your digital and physical environment empowers you to reclaim control. Turn off what isn't essential, schedule blocks of uninterrupted work, and be mindful of what you consume. When you protect your attention, you protect your ability to make meaningful progress. Along with focus, routines anchor your days and provide structure. They reduce decision fatigue and make productive habits automatic. Routines create momentum, small, repeated actions that move you steadily toward your goals. Whether it's a morning ritual that centers you or an evening routine that helps you reflect and recharge, these patterns provide stability amid life's unpredictability. Routines don't guarantee success overnight, but they make steady progress inevitable. They shape identity by reinforcing the behaviors of the person you want to become. Yet, amidst all the hustle, it's essential to embrace rest and reflection as integral parts of wise time management. Rest isn't laziness, it's a vital act of replenishment. Your mind and body need space to recover, to process, and to come back stronger. Reflection is the pause that allows you to evaluate your journey, learn from mistakes, celebrate wins, and recalibrate your direction. Without rest and reflection, burnout and stagnation become inevitable. They aren't signs of weakness, but signs of wisdom, the awareness that sustainable success requires balance. By honoring this rhythm, you maintain clarity, creativity, and resilience over the long haul. All these principles, intentionality, discipline, saying no, investing in yourself, avoiding distractions, building routines, and embracing rest work together to create a life lived with purpose. Time is finite and precious. It will not wait for you to be ready, so choose how you spend it with care, guard your moments fiercely, act with resolve, and never forget that every small decision adds up. This is how you spend your time wisely for success, not by doing more, but by doing what matters most.